In this video we are going to talk about top 10 most corrupt countries in Africa 2021. So before starting this video, please like this video and subscribe to this channel for our future updates. Sub-Saharan Africa is comprised of countries such as Burundi, Seychelles, Nigeria, Cameroon, Kenya, Cape Verde, Lesotho, the Gambia, Djibouti, Ghana, Angola, Ethiopia, Liberia, and others that are located south of the Sahara Desert, such as Burundi, Seychelles, Nigeria, Cameroon, Kenya, Cape Verde, Lesotho, the Gambia, Djibouti. They have been identified as having the lowest corruption perception index in the entire continent of Africa, and they are showing little or no indications of progress. They are in desperate need of immediate action. COVID-19 brought with it a new wave of economic misery, as well as the exposure of even more corruption flaws in the system, which were previously hidden. People were told to stay at home as a result of a lockdown order, and the sick and infected individuals among them did not all have access to sufficient medical care as a result of the extremely inadequate healthcare systems in place. However, despite the fact that this occurred as a result of the misappropriation of funds, which is a typical form of corruption in modern-day Africa, the corruption rate continued to climb, fueled and fed to even higher heights by the economic downturn that followed. During the pandemic, things were so terrible and harsh for many that riots, revolts, and uprisings erupted in a number of nations across sub-Saharan Africa, particularly in Kenya and Uganda. People were not conducting their enterprises in the manner in which they used to, and as a result, the chain of commerce deteriorated. A practical solution or alleviation would have been the distribution of palliatives to individuals who were in desperate need of them. Corruption in government, on the other hand, resulted in this being hijacked and misused. Prices, particularly for food, have risen dramatically. Bribery cases have also increased, according to findings from the Global Corruption Barometer, which found that about 1 in every 4 people in Africa has been forced to pay a bribe in order to receive basic services that are meant to be supplied by the government in place. Number 10. Somalia. Somalia is the most corrupt country in Africa, according to Transparency International. The turbulence, state of chaos, and insecurity that characterize the country only serve to exacerbate the high degree of corruption in the country even further. Bribery is also common practice, as certain government officials are willing to accept bribes in exchange for turning a blind eye to illegal and unlawful activities that are carried out. Despite the fact that Somalia's constitution expressly forbids various forms of corruption, the process of putting such rules into effect has not yet begun in earnest. Institutions and parastatals are in a disordered state, and they are unable to provide support for the country's resistance to the corruption that has descended upon it. There is no structure or set of norms for the regulation of governmental activities, and the economy is shackled and unable to flourish as a result of this condition. Number 9. South Sudan. South Sudan is ranked highly on the list due to the fact that the country is particularly afflicted by corruption. It appears that most things, including engaging in business activities, will not be effective unless bribes are paid to those involved. To operate a business without hesitation, one must have some type of government affiliation, or to put it another way, one must purchase government affiliation. Additionally, the court system in South Sudan is nothing to write home about as either. It is also hampered by corruption and is powerless to address the situation in the country. Number 8. Guinea. According to media reports, corruption control in Equatorial Guinea is at an exceedingly low level. The competency and performance of public officials have been questioned by the public, and citizens have lost confidence in them. This is due to the fact that these authorities solely work for the advantage of the general population. Number 7. Sudan. Sudan is included on the list of the most corrupt African countries because corruption has permeated practically all sectors of the economy, notably the economic sector, to such an extent that it has become systemic. The corruption that exists in the country extends to the political sphere, where authorities misuse their authority and favoritism is the order of the day, among other things. Number 6. Libya. The country of Libya has been in complete disarray ever since Gaddafi's regime was overthrown in 2010. The economy has suffered a precipitous decline, and both the governmental and private sectors have sunk into a deep trench of corruption as a result. Corruption and vandalism have wreaked havoc on the oil industry, which was once thriving. The commercial industry is engaged in a perpetual tug-of-war with businesses owned and operated by the government, while the latter arbitrarily and unlawfully seizes control of the market and stifles any sort of competition from private enterprises. Number 5. Democratic Republic of Congo. The Democratic Republic of Congo is a government that appears to thrive on persecution and suppression, particularly of those who speak out against corruption or take steps to limit it. There is a fragile democratic structure in place in the country, and it does not stand up to the unscrupulous whims of politicians in the country. Due to the fact that the country's armed forces are not under its control, the country's internal security is also jeopardized. Control and authority are constantly contested between the country's severely decimated armed forces and local militias both within and without its boundaries, resulting in a perpetual struggle for supremacy. Number 4. Guinea-Bissau. Guinea-Bissau has one of the highest rates of corruption in the world, according to the World Bank. The country received a ranking of 161st out of 175 nations in Transparency International's Corruption Perceptions Index for 2014. The previous year, it ranked 163rd out of 177 countries, which was a significant improvement. This represented a drop from its previous ranking of 150th out of 174 countries in 2012. On the Mo Ibrahim Foundation's Index of African Governance, Guinea-Bissau received a score that was worse than the average for both Africa and West Africa in 2013. Corruption has infiltrated the system, causing the departments of the government that were once well organized to become disorganized. Number 3. Zimbabwe. Corruption has been prevalent in Zimbabwe's political, private, and civil sectors, and it has spread throughout the country. According to the 2016 Transparency International Corruption Perceptions Index, Zimbabwe is ranked joint 160th out of 180 nations in terms of perceived corruption. Zimbabwe received a score of 22 on the Corruption Perceptions Index, which ranges from 0, very corrupt, to 100, very clean. This is an increase in corruption since 1999, when the country was ranked 4.1 on the Corruption Index, out of 10. According to the findings of a poll conducted by Transparency International Zimbabwe in 2000, Zimbabwean individuals believe that the public sector is the most corrupt sector in the country. According to the results of this study, the police department was rated as the most corrupt, followed by political parties, parliament/legislature, public officials/civil workers, and the justice system. Number 2. Burundi. It appears as though the only way to save the country's situation is through a social study and a review of policies. Due to the fact that the current policies and agencies in place to combat corruption in the country have failed to significantly reduce the cost of corruption on the country, this is the case. The rate of corruption has been continuously increasing and is a major source of concern, to the point where it has triggered a condition of unrest and instability throughout the country. Number 1. Chad. In addition to security concerns exacerbated by insurgency, Chad is also plagued by corruption, which has spread throughout the country. This has had a significant negative impact on the economy, and the rule of law is barely enforceable. Many people behave in a corrupt manner, as though they are above the law or believe they are superior to others. There is, however, law against corruption in place, with punishments that are severe enough to deter even the most unscrupulous of individuals. It does not dissuade those who engage in corrupt practices in Chad, who rather target and entrap opponents of the government or members of the opposition in order to impose these sanctions and punishments. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. Thanks for watching.